is that I suppose that's the beauty about it, because we learning every day. Is like Michelangelo said at age 87, I am still learning. I am still learning. So it doesn't matter what age we are, we're still learning. And that's a good thing, because you may have seen something in one way years ago, but then it unfolded itself differently. It's like you read a book and you read this story many times, but then you go back and you read the story again, and a new light, something new come to light, and you're thinking, my goodness, how didn't I see that before?
Yeah.
And then you have another thing to talk about. So I think women we are so resilient. We are so resilient that we don't even know it. And this is a time, I think, where we need to be open, just as everybody's being open now about mental health. We need to be open about our physical health, our abuse.
Talking with the experts.
Hello, my name's Rose Davidson from rosedavidson.com, and you are listening to Talking with the Experts. Talking with the Experts is about all things business, by business owners, for business owners. And today I will be talking with Verna Haywood about the 7 pillars of health and wellness. And Verna fled an abusive relationship in Trinidad with just £100 and a suitcase, and went to the UK in 1997, determined to be the voice for women in similar situations who have yet to find their own strength. She is the founder of health and wellness business La Vie, which means life, where she empowers and inspires women. Oh God, a woman after my own heart. At the V, Verna uses the 7 pillars of health and wellness to rebalance, restore, and renew women to enable them to live a life of wholeness. Verna's method combines a holistic approach to re-establish harmony between body, mind, and soul, and it draws on the principles she learned growing up on the island of Grenada in the Caribbean, using nature and seasonal produce to feed, sustain, and medicate to ensure a healthy, balanced life. Welcome, Verna, and thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you very much for having me, Rose. I appreciate it very much. It is a pleasure to be here with you.
Yeah, looking after women is one of my all-time favourite things to be doing. I'm the president of Healing Through Love, which is a domestic and family violence awareness initiative that started in Adelaide in South Australia. So yeah, we have a lot in common on that ground. So that's terrific. I guess. Tell me how you teach women to be inspired, I suppose, by using, their health and wellness, because a lot of people who are in an abusive relationship or have come out the other side don't necessarily look after themselves as well as they could.
Yes, that's true. And I suppose when I started, although I wanted to do this, I first started in the health and wellness industry, studying spa industry, studying all about the physical health and the mental health. At that time, mental health wasn't such a big issue. Nobody spoke about it. It was just hush hush, just as abuse is hush hush. And so I dive into working with my hands, because I was always told I had healing hands. So I started working with my hands in terms of doing holistic therapies. I worked on cruise liners and things like that. So for me, the health starts from within. And having grown up in the Caribbean and using plant produce, so my grandmother and my great-grandaunt used that to great effect in terms of healing different ailments. It wasn't about going and take a medication. It was about the garden. It had everything in the garden was there to help you to revive, to help a bruise, to help all these things. So I took that on. And also, having gone through the abuse, I understood that I couldn't speak to anyone about it. I couldn't tell anyone because nobody believed you as a child. And therefore, the one thing I had to hold on to was the word of God. And it was all about reviving, reflecting, and renewing myself. So I used to use scriptures to really help myself to move on. And so I integrated that into whatever I was doing. So when I did a treatment, that was integrated to really help. And getting down to the consultation, I think, is when you ask the questions, when you speak to the client before they come and lay on your couch, that's where you're going to find out what it is you need to be working on and work intuitively. And that's how I started implementing using the 3 R's to wholeness in my practice, which is reflect, revitalize, and renew. It's all about the inside out.
It's very important, especially as women. We don't necessarily, well, we don't think to look after ourselves first. We usually put others' needs before our own. And so I guess, using a holistic approach, like the things that you find in your garden in Australia, they call that bush medicine, because, we use practices that our Indigenous people have used. And so, it's called bush medicine. And we find that they're quite effective. It's a bit like Chinese medicine, where they use herbs and so forth to make people better. And I think Western medicine is taken that away somewhat. And I think it's a bit of a shame, because you can nearly always find something in the garden or in the bush or out in nature that can help you with wellness.
Yeah,
but how do you empower women? So, using your approach, how would you empower women to come out the other side of abusive relationships, for instance?
For instance, I tell my story. I usually start with me, because I think if you're going to empower someone, you need to let them know they have the power within them, because most of the times we have released our power to someone else, because we are told we can't talk, we can't do this, and we can't do that. And when something happened to us, we tend to recline, we tend to go inside ourselves rather than come out. So we take on that problem or whatever is happening and make it dominate us and make us feel less than we are. And actually, women are powerful. We were given something that the world needs. We were given something to birth. We are birthers. We birth things into being. And therefore, we have got to realize what we've got and take hold of it, claim that, and use that to help ourselves, because no one else will do that for us. So I listened to their consultation, and then I use my story to say, okay, this is what happened to me. This is how I overcome this problem. And I think what it is you are saying to me is similar in that sense. So you can look at yourself. So take a look at yourself and look from within and work from within and come out. Because if anything at all have to be birthed, it birthed from the inside. It doesn't birth from the outside. If you plant something in the ground, it birthed from the earth. It doesn't birth from up. It have to get that root. It have to get that sprout. It have to be grounded on a solid ground before it can come out. So I use those principles to really help them to see the goodness that they have in them and the power that they have within themselves. So overcome any obstacle.
Yeah. So what are the seven the pillars that you use? Could you just explain a little bit about what those 7 things are, please?
The pillars of health is, first of all, you have your physical health. You have your physical, your emotional, your social, your spiritual, the environment, you also have your financial. So all of that come into being. When we go through abuse, the first thing we think about, oh gosh, I can't make it. How am I going to do it? What am I going to do? If I leave, how am I going to make it financially? That's the first thing we think. And we make that a barrier from going forward. We don't think about anything else financially. That's the first thing. I can't make it. I can't do it. It's only I can. But you could. Instead of saying I can't, just take that step. This is what I had to do. I had to take that step. And I had to say, okay, because when I got married, I had everything. The only thing I did not do is buy the house. Because my grandmother said to me, Verna, never put a man in a house. Let a man put you in a house. So I decided that I will have everything. So when that person come along, we will have everything, and it's just a house to go into. And everything is there. And therefore, when that happened to me and I saw what was happening, because I was a worship leader, I'm very much a spiritual person because that's my background. That's what helped me through everything. And had I not had that, I'm not sure where I would be. So when that happened, I had to make a decision. As a worship leader, I always believe that whatever I'm doing, I have to do it unto the Lord. So don't matter what I'm doing, it has to be God first, putting him first in everything. And therefore, once I have done that, I have to, it's all about the people. It's all about, because I always wanted to serve. I always wanted to help others. So for me, that was great. So I decided, okay, if I leave, what am I going to do? But that wasn't the thought that I can't make it. I am going to leave. I am going to go away. And I walked away I left everything behind. I took nothing except that £100 and a suitcase, and some friends helped me buy my ticket. And that's what I did. And yes, I was coming to England. Yes, I had family in England. I had an uncle and I had an aunt in London. And I didn't know them because I've never met them. But I knew of them and they knew of me. And I decided, okay, when I come to England, what would I do? I decided not to stay in London because I was brought up in the country. So the town, it was too busy for me. So I went to the country and stayed with friends and studied. I didn't have the money. Because when we do that, we stop ourselves. It's a stumbling block. When we think about, we don't have the money. Money will come. Money is a vehicle. Money drive commerce. It drives things. But if we think about it and we think, I can't, then it will never happen. So you have to take that bold step. You have to step out in boldness, because you have to remember you are fearfully and wonderfully made. And you have everything within you. You have all the resources within you. So if you look within yourself, you can then bring that out. And I just use those things as a method to show women how they can move forward, how they can improve, how they can improve their emotional health, how they can improve their physical health, how they can improve their spiritual health, because we have to build resilience, unstoppable resilience, and we have that ability to do that.
Yep, I agree totally. But we let ourselves be blindsided or lied to or cheated out of what is rightfully ours. And unfortunately, it's just the way it is. We don't think we're as strong as we are as women, because we're taught not to be strong, not to show strength, not to do a lot of things. And so when we get into an abusive relationship, sometimes we think that's normal, or we don't deserve better, or whatever reasons. And so, we don't use the strength that we're actually born with, because we don't know that it's there until we give it to ourselves. But as you say, you have to dig deep to find it, because it's not something that comes naturally to a lot of women. I mean, a lot of women are very strong, but others aren't. So it's
and I suppose that's why we often ask, why me? Why did this happen to me? Why couldn't it happen to somebody else? But why not you?
Yeah,
Why
why
not
not?
you? Why not?
Why not? Yeah, I mean, it somehow forces us to, I guess, become strong and realize that we are strong women and strong people. And it took me a long time to realize that. And it took me for almost 60 years till I realized that I was strong enough, and I was enough, and I was worthy of everything good that happened to me, So sometimes it takes longer to learn the lesson.
It does, but is that, I suppose that's the beauty about it, because we learning every day. Is like Michelangelo said at age 87, I am still learning. I am still learning. So it doesn't matter what age we are, we're still learning. And that's a good thing, because you may have seen something in one way years ago, but then it unfolded itself differently. It's like you read a book and you read this story many times, but then you go back and you read the story again, and a new light, something new come to light, and you're thinking, my goodness, how didn't I see that before?
Yeah.
And then you have another thing to talk about. So I think women we are so resilient. We are so resilient that we don't even know it. And this is a time, I think, where we need to be open, just as everybody's being open now about mental health. We need to be open about our physical health, our abuse. Is no longer something to be swept under the carpet. It's no longer something to say, well, I can't talk about it because what people are going to say. They are going to say what they are going to say, but it's what are you going to say? Whose report are you going to believe?
That's correct. Yes, it is right. It's very, very, very true. Now, you have a book out, or it's up and coming. Not yet, but almost. But it's entitled Unstoppable: How to Live an Empowered Life. Would you like to tell us a little bit about the book and where we'll be able to find it when it is released?
Well, the book is all about how I overcome tragedy to be who I am. It's about how I left, all the struggles, everything that has happened. Because when things happen to you, you can think, oh, I can't go on. It's so sad. It's so dreary. We just have this whole cloud of darkness around us. And for me, life is for living. My name means spring green. So spring is life. Spring is when everything comes alive. I tend to look during winter and you see all the leaves of the tree and you're thinking, oh my gosh, the tree is dead. And then you look a little bit closer and you see those little buds keep coming up. And then it just keep blooming and blooming and blooming. And it comes, woo. So no matter what happened to you, there is someone I like listening to is one of the motivational speakers, Les Brown. He says, when you fall in, fall backwards so you can spring back up. So I'm like a spring. I'm like an elastic band. I spring back into action. So it doesn't matter whatever knocks me, I spring back up. So the book is going to be talking about that. I'm telling them how it is you can spring back, what it is you can do to spring back, and using your strength, going deep within you to find that strength to spring back. Whatever you believe, we all believe in something. Some of us believe, some of us is God, is Christ. Others is the universe. Others is, he's known by many names. You might call him by a different name. And I believe that we all can live together in peace. The most important thing is love. I had to think about love. I wanted to make love the central theme of my life. My heart must be filled with love, because with love, you can conquer anything. In 1 Corinthians 1, it says, love conquers all. You have hope, love, and faith. But love is the greatest things of all. So when we have love, when we plant our seed as love, love can overcome. Love is unconditional. So it doesn't matter what happened. I forgive what my perpetrators have done to me, because I didn't want to have that as something of hate. because hate kills you. Hate disfigures you. Hate makes you ugly, not ugly just on the outside, but ugly on the inside, because we have to remember what's on the inside comes out on the outside. So we have to fill ourselves with that love and forgive. When you forgive, you're not just forgiving that person, you're forgiving yourself. You is a central part of this, because if you don't forgive and you hate, you are hating you and you can't move forward. So you have to think about, what do I want to do? How do I want to live my life? What story am I going to tell? And that's where the central theme of the book will be coming from, using all the different things that has happened. So once the book comes out next year, then I will talk about it on my Instagram and YouTube and everything like that. And I'm hoping to launch it on Amazon. I have somebody who is willing to help me to do that. So I'm looking forward to the stories, and I'm looking forward to reliving. Sometimes we don't want to relive, L-I-V-E. We don't want to relive the past. It's not about taking the bad stuff. There are lots of good things that has happened. If we think about Edison and the light bulb, lots of things happened during that time when he was, designing the light bulb. And then suddenly it came. But as he said, those were lessons to learn. There were good things that came out of that. So you have to reflect on the good things, hold on to the good things. The bad stuff, use them as fuel to drive you. And that's what it's going to be. That's how I envision it.
Sounds perfect. So, Verna, where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram is Verna_Harry. And then I'm on Facebook. I have La Vie Health and Wellness and La Vie Refresh. I also have a YouTube channel, and I also have my website, which is lavierefresh.co.uk. So there are many different ways they can find me. I'm also on LinkedIn as well, so they can find me.
I'll have to go and stalk you now. I'll have to thank Victoria for sending you to me too.
Yes.
And so I guess, have you got any words of wisdom that you'd like to share with our audience today?
Oh, my words of wisdom is, don't take no for an answer. You have everything within you. You have the power to change your life. You have the power to transform your life. Don't wait for somebody else to do it, because you have it. You have it all within you. So I would say, dig deep. Whatever your goal, and make big plans. Don't make small plans, because small plans don't push you. But when you think big, it pushes you to achieve. It pushes you to go forward. And yes, you will have stumbling. You will stumble and you will fall. A baby don't just walk the first time. It stumbles, it get up, it smile, it laugh, it cry. But then it gets stronger and stronger and stronger. So look within yourself and build your strength. Don't take no. Go forward and achieve what you are called to do, because we all are unique. We all are called for a purpose, and live out your purpose.
Beautiful words. Absolutely beautiful words. All right, Verna, thank you so much for talking to us today, and I look forward to when your book comes out next year.
Thank you very much for having me. It's such a privilege to be here with you. I have been listening to you as well, and listening to some of your podcasts. So I'm learning a lot, because I myself.
Thank you. All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Talking with the experts.